You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com. And streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's WWE Main Event After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and give you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE Main Event After Show.
We got a voiceover intro.
It's about time.
It's for Main Event. That means we're official. We're officially here. You hear the music playing. We got Main Event's music. We got a Main Event voiceover intro. We are here. Welcome, everybody. I am professional wrestling's voice of choice, Christian Rosenberg. We are brought to you by Bing. Bing is for doing, and we're doing another WWE's Main Event After Show. And I, of course, am not doing this alone. Only got one partner this week. Unfortunately, Corey had a prior commitment this week. She is not here. Fret not, Corey fans, or, Takeyites. She will be back next week. But right now, it is just me and the one and only Mr. Cameron Kash.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Christian. It was great, and we're going to miss Corey very much today, but I think we're going to have an amazing show.
We're gonna have a great show. We're doing Main Event AfterBuzz for the week of March 20th, hailing from Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the Bearcats. And, we're on that road to WrestleMania, buddy. We're getting closer and closer and closer, and you can feel it. Between all the video packages, the hyping up that the commentators do for it, which we'll talk about a little later. But you just have the sense, like if you're a wrestling fan, you just sense it. You just have that feeling like, okay, WrestleMania is looming. It's very close, like our Super Bowl.
It's like we're in the NBA playoffs. You can feel the energy. Everyone's on their A game, and it's a lot of great wrestling action.
NCAA March Madness just started today. I'm following my bracket religiously. Go Akron Zips, my alma mater. Akron Zips, they play. Actually, they play in about an hour. So as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to be listening and cheering them on. Anyway, Main Event, we kick things off with our Intercontinental Champion, Mr. Wade Barrett, heading down to the ring. And we get a nice little video recap on Monday Night Raw of that triple threat match where, for those of you that follow me on Twitter, I was just going nuts on Twitter about this match and how much I loved it. If we were doing a star rating for it, it was a 5-star match to me. That was how a triple threat match should be. And I can't get enough of it.
I know you want to ask me what I'm going to rate that match.
What would you have rated that match?
I would have given it a 4 stars. I thought it was amazing.
For you, a 4-star is like me giving something 10 stars. So that shows how good that match was.
5 stars, I got to remember it for life.
Fair enough.
Sweet Jesus.
I know. I was just as shocked as you, Steven. But yeah, so we got a little recap of that. And, we see, Barrett, again, come down to the ring for his match, and The Miz on commentary. He's talking about, he's like, I'm not taking anything away from Wade Barrett. He won the match. He was so close in capturing the title. He hit the skull-crushing finale on Jericho, but then he got rolled up by Wade Barrett. And he's like, that day, Barrett was the better man. He outsmarted me.
I couldn't believe that he won that match. My prediction last show, if you remember, it was Chris Jericho winning that match. And I couldn't believe it because it almost felt like, what was the point for the last 2 Raws, building that whole triple threat match and bringing in Brad Maddox, and it just didn't make any sense that Wade Barrett would win that match, but he did.
He did, and he's continuing that momentum. Probably the biggest win of his career, beating 2 WWE champions in the same match, brings the momentum to Main Event where he's taking on Mr. R-Truth. What's up?
I don't know what's up with him.
Wow, I was just saying what's up to you, but all right. We'll go.
You were saying what's up to me?
Yeah, why not? Or what's up to everyone watching and listening? It's what R-Truth does. That's what he does, so that's why I did it. All right.
I don't know. I like R-Truth. It's just that I feel like he could do a better job. I don't know.
Nah, who knows? I mean, he's been around a long time. I don't know his exact age. He's one of the oldest wrestlers on the roster.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You told me that while we were watching Main Event. I had no idea.
But, R-Truth taking control early in the match, dominating, clotheslining Barrett out of the ring. And this was phenomenal camera work about the WWE, because once R-Truth clothesline Barrett out of the ring, the camera, instead of staying on Barrett or going to R-Truth, it turns to Miz. And Miz has this grin of approval. And I thought that was fantastic, because you can tell, like, all right, Miz is giving him his props for winning that match on Raw, but it's like, I still want a piece of you. I still haven't had a one-on-one title match with you. Yeah. So I just love that little grin. And then Michael Cole brings up, Miz, maybe you have some unfinished business, with Wade Barrett. We'll have to wait and see, because we don't have a Mania match announced yet.
Yeah, Miz mentioned on the show they've never had a one-on-one match officially, so it'll be interesting. But it does sound like it sounds like your prediction was right, Christian. It's gonna be at WrestleMania. That's what it seems like.
R-Truth is 41 years old.
Thank you. There you go.
Yeah.
Stat boy. I told you he was in his 40s.
That's hard to believe. He does not look 41 at all.
Oh, well, if I can look like that at age 41, I'm 30 right now and I look awful. But I'm just my gut. But other than that,
oh, you look good. You kind of remind me of Brock Lesnar. To be honest with you, you have a similar complexion.
What?
Yeah, you do. You have a similar complexion.
All the time I get a young Bob Backlund. But I've never gotten Brock Lesnar.
I don't know.
Thank you.
No, Brock Lesnar, he's a former UFC champion. That's a compliment.
WWE champion. Yeah. All right. I'm Brock Lesnar now.
Maybe
awesome.
I was, in psychology, they call that primed. Maybe I was primed with the image of Brock Lesnar from Monday's Raw.
Maybe. Oh. Anyway, back over to the match. Miz also continues still to put Barrett over, talking about how Wade Barrett proved on Monday that he is a fighting champion, that he's defending the title over and over now in a difficult triple threat match. And that's what he loved about the Intercontinental title. When he was a kid growing up, that's why I loved the title so much. Me personally growing up, and still to this day, the Intercontinental title has always been my favorite title, because that was like the stepping stone title. And when I was a kid, imagining that maybe one day I'll be a wrestler, I never wanted to be the world champion. I just wanted to be the Intercontinental champion. I loved that title, and I loved the wrestlers that would fight for it, because I figured they were all kind of, when I was a kid, thinking, oh, well, they're not a high flyer, they're not a super heavyweight, I can hang with these guys.
Same here. The Intercontinental title to me was always something very special, and I think guys like Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect, and they really put a lot of, even Bret Hart put a lot of prestige in that title, and it felt like it kind of just watered away over the years, but they're bringing it back, and it's beautiful to see.
Putting you on the spot real quick. Greatest Intercontinental champion of all time. Who?
Razor Ramon.
Interesting choice. All right. I say Mr. Perfect.
Okay.
I loved Mr. Perfect as Intercontinental champion. Anyway, so Barrett, coming back in the match, he nails his, supposedly nails his signature big boot while R-Truth is kind of hanging from rope. But we saw it, because then they did a replay at the end of the match.
We saw the replay.
He didn't really hit it too well this week. Normally that's one of his signature moves. Obviously, nobody's perfect. But, it just seemed like, all right, well, if you saw from the original angle and it didn't hit it full force.
He missed it by that much.
Why show it again in the replay? Yeah. But R-Truth, fighting back as we come back from the commercial, hits a nice Hurricanrana on Barrett. Impressive. But then Barrett takes in control again, nails his bullhammer. Nails it pretty well again. Now he's not winding them up. He's not holding on to them like he used to. Now he's just running like it's a clothesline, which I like a lot more, and connects well with it. And the Intercontinental Champion, hey, a non-title match, the Intercontinental Champion, he won. It's 2 weeks in a row now.
And not to mention he won the triple threat match, too.
He's on a roll.
I guess, again, it seems like this is building for that WrestleMania match that we both predict, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, and we'll see, at the end of the match, Barrett grabs the microphone, and he's like, that is what you call a barrage. Or however he says it. I can't do a British accent.
Yeah, play on words.
Yeah. when he first talked about the Barrett barrage, everyone laughed at him. But now those people, nobody's laughing now. They're double question. Blah. I'm just rambling. They're questioning themselves now of why they would say that. And all will fall victim to the bullhammer. On Raw, he destroyed Jericho, and that Punk sitting over there as he points to Miz. I personally, I like, obviously calling him out, but there's a wrestler with the name Punk. Use a different word. Say jerk. Say dweeb. I don't care what you say, but don't say the same name as another wrestler.
Good point. Yeah.
But Barrett then leaves the ring, kind of holding the title, still talking a little bit in front of the Miz's face, gives him a little shove. Miz falls in a chair, and then Miz snaps. He gets up, starts clubbing away at Barrett, throws him back in the ring, stomping. Wade Barrett hightails it. Miz is all angry, taking off his tie and everything. He's ready to go. He doesn't care if he's in his $1,000 suit. You know, he's ready to fight right there. And Wade Barrett running away, again, just planting those seeds. No official announcement yet. Maybe we'll get on SmackDown this week. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, you know, we're ready for that Intercontinental title match between Miz and Barrett one-on-one. And Mania would be the perfect setup for it.
I want to see some physical contact with those two guys, like really before WrestleMania. I still feel like it needs some more build-up, but you know, there's been a lot of seed planning.
We got about 2.5 weeks before Mania, so there's still time. There's still this week's SmackDown, 2 more Raw. So 3 more SmackDowns, 2 more Raws, and 2 more main events.
It's so hard to believe, though, what's happened in The Miz. I mean, wasn't last WrestleMania he was in the World Championship match?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, my bad.
2 years ago. Last year, how did he wrestle last year? I'm drawing a complete blank with
Maybe,
that too.
someone could help us with that on the comments.
Because he completely, like he would when he was the heel character, he would just completely bring up over and over. Oh, he was on Team Johnny.
Oh, okay.
Or Team Ted. He was in the Raw versus SmackDown team match. That's where he was. But he just always kept bringing up how he main evented WrestleMania 27. Oh, so everyone like forgets what he did in WrestleMania 28 because he just kept bringing up 27. Star rating for Wade Barrett versus R-Truth. What you got?
I'd have to give this one 2.5 stars. 2.5 stars. It was a fast-paced match. You know, Wade is on a winning streak. Again, that build-up for hopefully WrestleMania. And overall, it was a decent match. But again, it wasn't really memorable. It was a shame he missed the boot to the face spot. And but it showed Wade as a dominant force. And ultimately, I think it got the job done for its purpose.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it 3 stars solely because of the commentary build-up for it. If it wasn't as good for that, we probably wouldn't dropped it between a 2 and 2.5 because the match was again, we were talking about the boot. I love Wade Barrett. I think he's a future world champion. I really do, and I like the idea of feuding him with The Miz. And I like how really Main Event has been the place where they've built up this entire feud. If you think about it, it's
hard to believe.
Which is great, and we get to talk about it, which is even better.
It's good for us.
It is great for us because they're looking out for you and I. That's solely what they're doing.
Gives us something to talk about.
That's right. Now we come and we take a look back at Monday Night Raw with the contract signing where Paul Heyman is there, with Triple H signing the contract. Obviously, Lesnar comes down. When we find out our official stipulation for this match, we've been talking about it, trying to think in our minds what it's going to be, and we have no holds barred.
Dud. It was such a letdown.
But by the way, Triple H's career is on the line.
Again, I was watching the Raw after show, and Ryan Katz said, he wrestles one to 2 matches a year, Triple H, so what? And
last year, we had the end of an era match where they were coming up like, this is the end of an era. We're not going to see this again with Triple H and The Undertaker. WrestleMania 1 year later, they're both in marquee matchups.
Plus, it wasn't really clear on Raw if his career as a wrestler was on the line or as COO, but they made it clear on Main Event that it's
it says the wrestler. Yeah. But you, on the other, now when they were showing the video package, they're showing the things that Paul Heyman was saying is all right, you're going to be blindfolded. Nah. You're going to be handcuffed and your ankle shank. No. You know what? Stephanie will go to the winner. I mean the loser. Obviously, the things, just to anger him. But you, when we were watching in the back, to your credit, sir, I tip my imaginary cap to you.
Thank you.
Came up with something that for drama buildup would have been fantastic. Please, the floor is yours. I want the world to hear Cameron Cash's idea for this because I honestly loved it.
I just thought it was very enticing. The whole that stipulation that's not the real stipulation, the loser get Stephanie, I thought it was almost like something out of a movie. And the way you would make that work, I believe, is that the winner of that match would also gain control as COO. So the dilemma would really be on Triple H, so that if this stipulation was a real stipulation, if he loses the match, he gets Stephanie. But if he wins the match, he keeps control of the company as COO.
So you win the match, you boost your ego, and you're still COO, but you no longer have your wife. If you lose the match, you know, you have to swallow your pride. You have to lose your title as COO. You know, whether it's just for TV purposes or whatever. But you can keep, you know, the love of your life. It would have been like a great drama build-up type of angle. Obviously, you know, they're not going to do something like that, but you know, it was a very interesting thought, and that's why I wanted you to bring it up on the show, because it's just like, you know, we don't really go like, you know, like into like fantasy booker type moments, but that had a little intrigue to it. So that's
they
why
mentioned, you know, the idea of if the loser gets Stephanie. Paul Heyman mentioned that, and I think, man, it would have been amazing. It just the amount of confusion you would see Triple H having to go through, and it would have made for some great TV.
Well, you know, we can only dream. We can only dream about it.
We're stuck with no holds barred.
And then all of a sudden, you know, we go and we get footage from Raw, again, of the Big Show running down to save Sheamus and Orton from the Shield. The Shield retreating. It was announced on Raw that Ryback has been removed from the six-man tag and will have a one-on-one match with Mark Henry at WrestleMania. So Orton and Sheamus need to find a partner. And Big Show's been trying to convince them, hey, let me be your partner. They've been messing with me. So then we cut to a backstage interview. We got Sheamus on Main Event. We got the Celtic Warrior talking in the backstage. And, you know, he's going over, you know, like the pros and cons of having Big Show as a teammate. He's like, well, he's held every title, you know, in the business. He's such a dominant, intimidating force. You know, they would be, you know, afraid of him. But he's conniving. He can stab you in the back at any time.
He's not trustable.
Not trustable. So what do I think? You know what? When sheep fly out of my arse, I'll consider it.
That's
quote
PG
unquote.
That is PG for you, arse.
My arse. So they're kind of teasing the idea that you know, we're not going to have Big Show as our partner. Where, I mean, obviously he hasn't. I thought it was officially announced really on Raw, but I guess it wasn't. And so right now it's still listed as a handicap match.
I don't understand why they're prolonging this, confirmation, because they're obviously going to announce it, I think, on Raw or SmackDown.
No, they're going to announce on Raw that the third man for their team will be Yoshitatsu. No? You don't think he's going to get a Mania moment in that match?
No, unfortunately.
No. Darn. All right, and then we come back. Well, after that, we see a Divas tag team match we're about to get here on Main Event. Exciting. Alicia Fox and Oksana. I was a little confused at first because Alicia was coming down in the ring with Oksana, who's a heel, and Alicia Fox is high-fiving fans and then, like, takes off her jacket and starts, like, twirling, like, trying to get the crowd behind us. Like, all right, what's going on here? Because Alicia Fox is one of those divas that, like, she's one of those few that they really don't know what to do with. Because, like, one week she's a good girl, the next week she's a bad girl. You know, trying to decide what they exactly want to do.
Yeah, you were telling me they could easily make her the next Rihanna.
I think she could be the Rihanna, like, you know, make her, I wouldn't say a dancer because obviously you have the Funkadactyls, but just like kind of the personality. I mean, she already kind of has it with the outfits, and I mean, she kind of looks like Rihanna to begin with. I mean, you know, they could do something with that. You know, make her kind of like an edgy, almost. You know, I don't want to say like hip hop or, you know, just like, you know, just go like straight to it. But you can kind of have like a little edgy, you know, feel to her while keeping her like a, you know, powerful diva, still, you know, looking sexy with like, you know, the extravagant outfits that she comes out in. She's got like the most unique outfits probably out of any diva when she comes out to the ring.
After seeing this Divas match, and we're going to go through it, I really felt like the Divas in the WWE are almost like an untapped area of entertainment for the WWE, that they're not really just, they're not using to its fullest, but it's great. We actually see a full Divas match. And it was
like 8 or 9 minutes or so, I think, the actual length of the match. It had a good length to it. And one of the problems with that, we saw a Divas tag match, that's half of the Divas division. Was, you know, like those two tag teams. Alicia Fox and Oksana, they go on and take on the team of Layla and Natalya. Hey, Natalya gets to wrestle. Like, arguably the best women's wrestler is wrestling for once. That's nice.
No more backstage fart storylines.
Oh, God. I don't want to remember anything about that. Now, now, while the process of them coming out, we get the clip again of how Alicia Fox and Natalya were recently in Rwanda for like the Nothing But Net campaign, like raising money and donating different mosquito nets, to help aid all the children down there in Rwanda, and in typical fashion with WWE, we take this very this positive story, and we decide to turn it into a storyline. Alicia Fox grabs the microphone. She's like, Natalya and I had an incredible time in Rwanda, but I got to tell you, I think it benefited me more than her because the entire time, Natalya's just talking about her stupid boyfriend, the Great Khali, and his giant hands, and his giant feet, and his giant ego, and it upsets Natalya because, hey, this girl's talking trash about my 7'4" boyfriend, So Natalya trying to get her hands on Alicia Fox, but the match starts out with Natalya and Oksana, and right from the get-go, a takedown by Natalya. We got a side headlock, and
I can't believe you caught this because I couldn't catch it on the standard definition feed.
Well, we got HD here, and someone ought to tell the divas that next time. Now, by the way, you're in HD because Oksana's outfit, for those of you that might have not seen Main Event, it was like very low on the back, so like you see her entire back.
Her back was bare.
Her back was bare, exactly. So Natalya has her down for a side headlock, and she's kind of like sliding her around like a circle in the ring. And on the canvas, I don't know if it was tanning lotion, some powder of some kind or whatever, but all of a sudden, all this makeup from Oksana's back is on the canvas. And like the entire time, like when I first saw it, I'm like, is someone bleeding? Like, is someone did someone get, no, that's makeup. It's
actually, that didn't really look like blood. It was just brown.
On the first glance, when you see some type of residue of any kind on a mat, your first instinct was, oh, might be blood. But then all of a sudden, obviously, when like they got up and you saw, I was like, no, that's Oksana's back makeup.
Or spray tan lotion.
Spray tan, something. So I'm, maybe, I don't know. I don't use that stuff. I would think stuff like that might eventually dry. I don't know. But yeah, might need to just double check that later on. Now, to her credit, obviously we're making fun of the fact of the makeup, but Oksana, honestly, to me, looked very good in this match. I have not been an Oksana supporter. No, seriously. I've for a while I was trying to think, oh, what is she doing? Like, she's not very good. She's definitely improved. Like, this match really showed me. I know Ryan Katz on Raw has been firmly behind her, and his favorite diva of all time, Caitlyn, as they always say on that show. But she looked impressive to me in this match. She cared. She was in the match like 80% of the match. And she looked good. It was a good back and forth match.
Layla was also in the match quite a bit.
Layla was also in the match. For the most part, it was Oksana versus Layla. Which can work, and eventually Layla makes the hot tag to Natalya, and Natalya cleaning house, hits a few good moves and then gets her hands on Alicia Fox. Eventually gets Alicia in the sharpshooter. Oh, Alicia had this because of how flexible Alicia is. She went for this big boot in the turnbuckle and missed, and she's literally like a straight line. Like when she ended up hitting the turnbuckle, it looked really good, and that helped Natalya set up for the sharpshooter. Natalya and Layla are victorious in a well-paced, good diva tag team match.
I loved it. I had to watch it a few times because when you see my rating, you'll see why. That I had to.
You watch it a few times because it's the divas and they're all pretty. Don't lie.
No, that's not the reason. Genuinely, I loved. Well, that's a part of the reason. I mean, they are pretty. I'm not going to decline that or deny that statement. But there was a lot of great grappling in this match. A lot of unique moves. There was even a
lot of good technical wrestling as well.
Yeah, it was really surprising. It was something I feel like I haven't seen in like. I don't even remember the last time I saw this in a Divas match. There was the comedic factor. I thought Oksana and Alicia Fox. It was what was it? I'm sorry, I had a little loss of train of thought.
You were thinking of Oksana and Layla. I get it. Yeah. It happens. No, Layla had a little comedy in there. Like she actually spanked Oksana at one point in the match.
Or the way Layla was acting, like a little.
She was kind of a little goofy,
like a little something you see like in Street Fighter from like Chun-Li or something.
Wow. So we have the Guile music last week, and now this week you bring up Chun-Li. Wow. Next week, Rye was going to be our guest. And
Oh, and don't forget the double leg push faceplant by Oksana. It was like the Miz called
she's
it
used that before. I've seen that before.
Using her thighs to jab her head in the mat. It was a
unique maneuver.
It was a very interesting maneuver.
You're just drooling. You're in love from this match.
So you want to hear my rating?
I'm guessing you gave it like 20 stars at this point.
3 stars.
3-star match.
3 stars. I thought it was better than the Wade Barrett. Who was he wrestling? I don't even remember.
Wow, you already forgot R-Truth.
I already forgot. You see, that's why I don't give that match 3 stars. Once I hit the 3 stars,
then you start remembering.
It's memorable, and I think I'm going to remember this match for quite a while. I really enjoyed it, and the fans were into it. It was a beautiful match.
3.5.
Oh, okay.
Divas, one of the best Divas matches really that I've seen on TV in a long time because they gave them time. They, like I said, it was somewhere, I don't know the exact time length. It was somewhere between probably 8 to 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I love getting to see Natalya wrestle, not just dance around with Great Khali. I like seeing Alicia Fox, although she wasn't in the match very much. I like seeing Alicia Fox wrestle because I think she's the most underrated diva of them all.
Although I think she needs to work on her acting a little bit. It wasn't.
The mic work needs a little work.
Yeah. You're right. I agree with you.
But still, I mean, main event. Let's have an 8 to 10 minute diva match every week on main event. Let them cut a promo on there. Have them, since obviously Raw is watched by more than main event. Use this.
When I was watching the match, when Natalya put that sharpshooter on and won the match, I had a flashback to China and her days as Intercontinental Champion, and we talked about this briefly as we were watching main event. It's a shame there's no more cross-gender matches.
As soon as they went to TVPG, they would not allow a man to hit a woman. And when was the last time you saw a man? What was that?
One, fight!
Oh, Street Fighter music. All right, and we'll get a time machine and go back 5 minutes, and that would be relevant. Oh, I love you, Steven.
We love you, man, but a little delay.
But no, like what you're talking about, like TVPG time. When since they've been TVPG, have you seen a man physically, like even just like grabbing the hair or whatever? Like you don't see that because they don't want to show like things to get ideas of domestic violence.
Well, don't forget the woman is also going to be hitting the man, and I could actually see many females preferring almost to see a match like that.
Well, women have not this past Rumble, but the year before. Karma was in the Rumble. She eliminated Michael Cole. She gave Dolph Ziggler her finishing like powerbomb move, and but it's just a matter of like
how buff are you as a woman?
Well, don't step to Karma, but the
she's
fact
huge.
Yeah, but the fact that
as in like
I think it's, at that point I think it's not fair. It's like it's one of those things like hit you. Oh, you can't hit me back. Like, well, then don't be in the Rumble.
I can really see like a Natalya. I could really see her one-on-one with like a Chris Jericho or something like that. And I think it would be a great match. Sharpshooter versus Lion Tamer or Walls of Jericho. They could really make it work, but I don't think we'll ever see it get the light of day.
Would you rather see that than Jericho versus Fandango?
Actually, yes, I would. I've
right.
never seen Fandango wrestle, so.
Well, we're giving our comments about the show. Overall, so far, very good main event. But who else can comment? The people watching and the people listening. And you know where they can do that? By going to iTunes. You can give us a 5-star rating. You can rate, put down a good comment. You can like it on the YouTube page and leave a comment there as well. And the most important thing is you spread the word of Main Event AfterBuzz. This is only our 3rd week, so we're still relatively new. Not many people might know that AfterBuzz is now doing a show for WWE Main Event. So keep spreading the word. Our numbers have been fantastic because of you guys. For those of you listening, I'm pointing to the camera. So those of you listening, it's because of you guys. And so, we want to keep that momentum going. We want these excellent comments and feedback on both on iTunes and YouTube. So it's because of you guys. Keep it coming, and do that so we can keep providing awesome entertainment for you.
And we are reading your comments. Please comment, like us, rate us on iTunes. Give us a 5 stars. I think right now we're at 4.5 or 4.5 stars.
Did we drop? We were at a 5.
I think someone gave us a 3 stars.
We need to get up to 4 3/4 stars.
I want 4 7/8 stars. Can iTunes produce that? And so after the Divas match, we come back and we got a recap of the Undertaker and CM Punk promo, which both of us were in like 100% agreement on, on how flat the Undertaker was on Raw. He said like 3 sentences, just very generic. It's like, you know, you got personal at WrestleMania, I'm going to hurt you. And that was pretty much the gist of his entire promo. And CM Punk with an excellent promo, while, you know, messing around with the urn. But like you were saying, you know, all of a sudden when he dropped the urn, not much reaction from Undertaker.
I thought the urn is Undertaker's power. When CM Punk drops that urn, one would believe, or one would think, that Undertaker would react in some sort of like negative way, in a physical or mental level. All he did was put his head down.
I would think he'd be acting more as a person. You know, in this quote unquote, you know, a person, because obviously, you know, he's the dead man. He's like no soul. But there was times, you know, in the Attitude Era where we saw, not talking about when he was like riding the motorcycle, but when he was, you know the dead man, how we saw more backstage segments with him. We saw more of a personality with him. We would see him when he was with the corporate ministry. We would see him laugh at times. Yeah. Which, obviously, like, you know, a sinister, evil laugh. But it's just like, you know, this is like this is personal stuff. That's your urn, man.
He should be furious. He should be running after Punk. There should be some physical contact here. He's just, in a sense, as much as I love the Undertaker and I think he's a phenomenal wrestler, he's kind of become the dead man. You know,
he's been around since 1990. And that's when the Undertaker debuted. He was wrestling before that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he's been around forever.
But imagine, let's say CM Punk, or I'm sorry, Undertaker.
Are you able to imagine this? Because you're still thinking of Divas.
No, I'm not thinking of the Divas. Although that was a beautiful.
All right, go ahead. What were you saying?
Let's say Undertaker did react when CM Punk accidentally dropped the urn. And then CM Punk sees that Undertaker reacts. So then CM Punk starts playing with the urn, says, "Pipe bomb." That would have been awesome, seeing how Undertaker would always react with that urn. That whole thing you're adding there, I don't know what you would call it, mental mind games by CM Punk, would be fantastic. Plus, we haven't even seen Undertaker do any mind games on CM Punk. What about the putting like a fake Diesel in the casket or a dead CM Punk in the casket, scaring him, spooking him, or all of a sudden with the snap of his fingers, he's backstage right in front of CM Punk as the lights go dark. I mean, right now it's just like, it was very, very underwhelming.
You know, it'd be really interesting. This literally, as you were saying this idea popped in my head. You're talking about like CM Punk, you know, like doing more stuff, and Undertaker as well. I say, you know, again, if I hate that we're doing the fantasy booker stuff on Raw, I want to see CM Punk watching Undertaker WrestleMania videos and eating popcorn out of the urn.
Well, what's supposed to be in the urn?
It's the power of the Undertaker.
Some people have speculated it's supposed to be like the Undertaker's parents' ashes or his mom's ashes. Although if
they've had different urns over the years, so I mean.
Then don't forget, who was it? Kamala Mustafa. He was the other guy in the history of the WWE who also stole the urn. And in that storyline, he melted the urn into a gold necklace until Undertaker, I think, beat him at like SummerSlam or something to get the necklace back and recast it.
And made a brand new urn out of it.
Yeah.
But now this brings me to an interesting question that you, Cameron Kash, I'm going to ask.
Sure.
So we got, you know, our 3 marquee matchups, like, you know, 3 main events for Mania. You got Cena Rock, Undertaker CM Punk, and Triple H Brock Lesnar. Pretty much with the buildup that you're seeing on paper, thinking, you know, it's a definite of Triple H winning, Cena winning, and Taker winning. So who in your mind right now, out of those 3, do you think is most likely to lose? Like, because you would think they would do some type of swerve and at least have one of them lose.
Right.
Which one of them do you think would possibly lose? Because right now, obviously, it's sound on paper, again, highly unlikely that could happen. But
I think John Cena would be the most likely to lose.
And what do you think would happen with that, though? Like, how do you think the fans were? How do you think the WWE Universe would react?
Well, they would have Cena? A rematch at Extreme Rules, Rock and Cena.
And him just kind of win it there?
Yeah.
You know, I cannot believe I'm saying, again, I don't expect any of this to happen. But right now, out of the three, I think it's Undertaker. I know it's crazy because a few weeks ago, I'm like, there's no way the streak can end. But the way Punk's been setting it up, and Punk really emphasized, and you heard it, you know, on the recap.
Disqualification and count out.
He's going to do everything in his power to make Undertaker get disqualified.
Yeah.
And you don't expect it to happen. I don't expect it to happen. But it's that, what if? What if all of a sudden, you know, Taker just hits him with a chair, and all of a sudden, you know, how would that referee feel? That referee would never be able to ref again. But ring the bell saying Undertaker lost by disqualification.
It's a fascinating point, but don't forget the last 20 WrestleManias, disqualification could have happened, and so could have a count out, and it didn't. So
not the last 3 years. Well, the first Shawn Michaels, Triple H, I mean, they did count, so there was a count out for that one, but you know, ref was very lenient. The second Shawn Michaels match, I believe, was no count out, no disqualification. The first Triple H match was street fight, so no count on no disqualification. And the second Triple H match was Hell in a Cell.
Wow. Well, then thank you for the correction.
Well, I mean, so out of the last 4 years, technically, I believe only once of his last 4 matches could there have been the count out or DQ. So, you know, because now, you know, like they're bringing it up, they're making it a big factor.
Still, though, I think they're just trying to hype it up more than it really is.
But that's fine. Hype it.
Hype it. But
I'm more excited for that match than Rock Cena. I mean, I'm sure you agree with that. I mean, you more excited for Rock Cena than CM Punk Undertaker? Wow.
Yeah, I am.
Wow, that silence said it all right there.
I think Rock and Cena is going to be a much more exciting match.
Well, we disagree on that one, but we've been
finally disagreeing.
I know we've been agreeing a lot today. So I mean, I don't know what happened between last week and this week. We're agreeing a lot more.
I don't know. The wavelength seems to have changed.
Maybe it was Corey. Maybe it was Corey. The whole. No, I'm kidding. We love you, Corey. You're coming back next week.
Indeed.
And now we get to our main event of main event. No, I just realized I said that. Main event of main event. And we got a tag team match again, but this time, you know, 2 legit tag teams. The primetime players, Darren Young, Titus O'Neil, taking on the Usos. Jimmy and Jay, they both got their entrances, the full-length entrance.
Right.
Again, Usos, lowest guys on the card with pyro. Love it.
You gotta love their what is it, Chivitao dance or Civitao dance?
Civitao, I think it was. I thought this was very interesting. The first 5 minutes of this match, it was all Usos. And it wasn't like them doing big moves and you know, Darren and Titus both getting attacked and going out of the ring to recover. This was just methodical tag team wrestling in a squash fashion by the good guys. You know, Usos making frequent tag motion, just taking it to Darren Young. Finally, we get to commercial break with Darren finally in his corner, just laid out. Titus hasn't seen a thing at this point. And all of a sudden we come back from commercial and Titus is in complete control.
It's funny, we were joking, Titus looks funny in those trunks.
He might need a little longer. I mean, him and Big E Langston need to go to the big and tall store and just get some more longer trunks.
Yeah, what happened to the longer trunks? I mean, Jericho, he made it look awesome, and then he went to the short trunks. It's like everybody has converted to the short trunks. I don't get it.
I don't know, but at this point, Titus in control. Now the primetime players are making frequent tags. They did this move where I believe it was Jimmy Uso that was in the ring at the time. I mean, you just you do everything in your power to try to find that little tattoo on the chest to tell the two of them apart, because that's really all you can do.
Miz and Cole were lost. I mean,
they
Cole
just said the Usos. Oos is going up top, but they do this. One of the primetime players' signature moves where Titus picks up Darren for a suplex and then drops him flat onto their opponent. Well, I believe it was Jimmy Uso. He was on his side. So you should be like this, and he was like this. That could cause a lot of injuries to both you and Darren.
Right.
You got to make sure that for splat, because that essentially is a splash. It's almost like a top rope splash from how high you're dropping. You should be as flat as can be, to make it look as effective as can be. Him on his side, I mean, thankfully,
Seems like
it didn't seem like anybody got hurt from it.
But it did seem like Darren was a little confused by it, too, because he was almost selling that he was in pain after that maneuver.
Oh, that's smart ring awareness then, knowing like, oh, well, he kind of turned a little bit, so I got to act like this was, this affected me. Like one of the most brilliant things that I see with things like that, and you don't see it as often as you would hope. Say someone's climbing the ropes or like running to do a springboard, and they slip. What you should do? You should pretend like you hurt your knee, and start limping, whether you're hurt or not. This way, like you can show, and then hopefully your opponent has the awareness of, all right, now I'm going to work on the knee, so we'll make this seem like, all right, that was not meant like he didn't mean to slip. Or whatever,
right.
work it into the match.
It's smart ring psychology.
Exactly, and Darren Young showed it in this match, to his credit. But as the match continues,
there was a great, by the way, I don't know if you said it yet.
Go ahead.
The great hip toss from Titus to one of the Usos.
Oh, I have not said that yet. No.
Sorry,
go
ahead.
no. That actually happened before the suplex move. Okay. So yeah, that was that hip toss that also looked really good in the turnbuckle. It didn't look like the cleanest hip toss, but for that angle, that worked that way.
That's what made it look cool.
Yeah, just like he just literally just like kind of threw him in there. But eventually, and this is what I found interesting, the double down in this match was just a backdrop, where Uso just hit a backdrop on Titus, and that's what it took for him to get the momentum to reach the hot tag to Jay, and then from there, Usos just cleaning house, hitting all their signature moves, the big head shrinker-esque splash off the top rope, and Usos 2 weeks in a row, a main event, beat two tag teams, and and I think upset the Primetime Players. I don't know what you think about that. I think Primetime Players are set for a tag title. In fact, I would have much rather have Primetime Players versus the Usos for the tag team titles at WrestleMania, because they're like legit tag teams, than Team Hell No versus Dolph and Big E for WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be more entertaining because it would mean more. The tag titles mean more in that sense because these guys are legitimate tag teams.
I totally agree with you. It's almost the whole tag titles in the past few years have just been, it's kind of lost its meaning, and they should be putting it on real tag teams, these belts, not on Kane and Daniel Bryan, who we don't even know how much longer they're going to be a tag team for. So it's just kind of, in my opinion, kind of dumb.
Right. But again, that's how the match ends. Usos victorious. Star rating, what you got?
Well, I have 2 or 3 things to say about this match. First, I was surprised to see the Usos on Main Event tonight. Don't forget, last week we mentioned...
Sorry, the DUI. I believe it was Jimmy that had the DUI.
So it seems like WWE standards have changed, and it's interesting to see that. Furthermore...
And also the fact that they won.
Yeah, which shows that they're not going to be penalized in any way. The other thing was that, for me, it was really, really hard to follow this match unless I muted it. I thought the commentating should have been way better. Yeah, we were talking about it because the whole time in the commentary, they're talking about all the stuff on WrestleMania. Yeah, well, it was it was not just WrestleMania. The Marine. It was like one advertisement after another with like how many Twitter followers The Miz has and stuff like that. It was just, it was like they weren't even following the match, and it really did seem that way. Like we said earlier, Cole didn't even know which Uso. That match has nothing to do with WrestleMania, so why bother? And honestly, it's sad to say that, but in this time frame of these next 2.5 weeks, if there's a match that has nothing to do with the WrestleMania card that you see on TV, that's probably what you're going to see, because all they want to do is hype WrestleMania. But it distracts from the match. Like I agree. I agree with you. I had to watch the match again and mute it and put on some music on my iPhone. Just should have let me know. The professional wrestling's voice of choice would have gladly done the commentary for the match, man. That's what I'm here for. Maybe in the near future. All right. So how would you rate this match then? So then I gave the match 2.5 stars. All right. I'm giving it a 3. Okay. Because I thought overall there was some surprising things with just a lot of dominance, early on by the Usos, and then just complete dominance by the Primetime Players. So I kind of like that because, again, they gave it the length. All 3 of the matches tonight had really good length to them, and that's one of the benefits of Main Event. They're able to stretch it. If this tag match was on Raw, it would have lasted 3 minutes. Yeah. It lasted over 10 minutes in this on Main Event today, including the commercial break.
or not including the commercial break, I should say. Excuse me. So I'm going to give a 3 for that. I agree with you. If the commentary was more on point with the actual match, probably would have boosted up to like a 3.5. Because commentary for me, maybe
part of the match.
It's a big part of the match. Because if I'm at home and I'm getting up from the couch to go in the kitchen, grab a soda or something, and I'm not visually seeing the TV, I should be able to know exactly what's going on by what they're saying, by still hearing it.
Right.
In that case, in this match, you wouldn't have been able to do that.
Not at all.
And then main event ends with a little photo showing that this Monday on Raw, the WWE Champion is actually going to be there.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. The Rock will be in the house Monday for Raw.
The most electrifying man in sports entertainment today.
And continuing to hype up WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, we'll plug it. We're plugging it. Every show now to build up. If you're not able to go to New York, because that's all sold out. What's the next best place to go? You're going to go to John Lovett's Comedy Club at Universal City Walk. Why? Because the AfterBuzz crew is going to be there. We're going to be watching it there on a huge screen. Great food, great drinks. All ages are able to go. So, Dad, you can bring your kid. Just make sure he doesn't take a sip out of your adult beverage. And then right after, we're going to be doing a WrestleMania podcast right there from the John Lovett's Comedy Club. And we just got confirmed. I know you watched Monday Night Raw, AfterBuzz. Jesse Heyman, the guy from the GoDaddy Super Bowl commercial, the guy who's been in like everything.
Right.
He's going to be there hanging out with us.
That lucky man, French kiss Bar Raffaelli. I don't know how he did it.
Well, he went for an audition. He handed his resume and headshot, and then probably had a callback. That's how these things work.
I know that, Mr. Rosenberg. Mr. Rosenberg.
But he's we're in the process of trying to book some more celebrities and wrestlers. So obviously more info will come soon with that. So stick around. But there's one more point I want to bring up on tonight's show.
Hall of Fame.
Thank you for reading my mind. We talked backstage before this started.
Ooh.
What? Yeah, I know. I'm just as shocked as you are, Steven. So they just lightly talked about at the very end how Booker T was announced as the newest Hall of Famer, the newest addition to the Hall of Fame class. I was curious to hear, from you. Do you feel that this is, like the right time, and is Booker T deserving of, being inducted in this class for the Hall of Fame in New York?
He definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, 100%, 100%. But in 2013, I feel like it's way too early, way too early.
See, this is my thought of it. I am a firm believer in, and they obviously do not do it, but that the WWE Hall of Fame should kind of be set up similar to the other sports, basketball, football, baseball, where someone has to be retired for at least 5 years before they get inducted. Booker T wrestled in that Team Johnny versus Team Teddy match at WrestleMania last year. Last year, he also had like a 2-month feud with Cody Rhodes. Does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Without a doubt. His accolades, where he and how he grew up and where he came from and what he became, no doubt about it, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think, and for New York, I think for something like that, because the most of his success came in WCW. WCW was not in New York very much. So, definitely should do guys that, spend more time in the Garden. Obviously Bruno has been in the Garden more than anyone, and so That's perfect with him there. Makes sense for Donald Trump for the celebrity wing for it this year because he's pretty much based out of New York. So I'm very happy he's in it. I just don't think this year is the right year, like similar to what you were saying. But also when you look at the Hall of Fame class this year, as of right now, they're probably going to induct one more person. You got Booker, Trish Stratus, Mick Foley, Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino. Obviously, Donald Trump is elsewhere because it's a celebrity wing, so it's different. But those 5, this might be the, as far as title reigns and, the amount of them and the length of them, this could be the most successful Hall of Fame class we've ever had, when you think about it. Obviously, no one's touching Bruno's reign record. Bob Backlund is up there and all that. So it's just like, you know, and they're going to add one more person. Title, whether that person was a former champion or not, that's an incredibly prestigious class right there.
I totally agree.
And, you know, for selfish reasons, I want the last person, or persons, I should say, because I want Demolition in the Hall of Fame so badly. I think they're the longest reigning tag champion. They want to go with all these reigns. Demolition, longest tag team champions in history. I want them in the Hall of Fame this year so badly.
You know, they were saying that they originally wanted to bring in Harlem Heat, but they couldn't get Stevie Ray. I know we shouldn't be talking gossip, but
nah.
I think that was...
Dirt sheet, no. No, I mean...
no more of that, guys.
No, but I mean Booker was much... I mean, obviously he had all the tag team success with Stevie Ray, but he didn't break out really until he went on his own. And that's when people really started to notice him. Obviously, yeah, they're an incredibly successful tag team. They were never in WWE. That tag team was only in WCW. Booker was tag champion several times with other people in WWE. Goldust, Test, RVD. I'm probably missing one or two other people. And along with King of the Ring, World Heavyweight Champion, 5-time WCW Champion, United States Champion. I mean, he's got it all. So
real quick, what's your hypothesis as to why they're booking Booker T in the Hall of Fame this year?
I just think, as weird as it sounds, you know, the last several years they've always had one, like, you know, African American inductee. And I mean, you know, we can talk more about it because I know we got to start getting ready to wrap this up, so we can kind of save that a little more for next week, because hopefully next week we'll have the final inductee as well. But you know, it's something that you've really noticed over the last several years. I mean, obviously there's so many of them that have paved way and done great things. And again, Booker T deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. Again, I just kind of question why this year. But yeah, so that's main event for the week of March 20th. Cameron Cash, how can people reach you? How can people contact you and tell you how amazing you are? Maybe even want to like give you like a virtual hug even.
I would totally be down for any virtual hug or even real physical hugs. You can follow me on Twitter at LAXPOSED. That's LA Exposed, no E before the X.
All right. And for those of you that would like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at CRosieVOC, CROSIEVOC. And also, getting ready, we're going to start plugging. I have another wrestling show coming up at the end of April from the Insane Wrestling League. It's going to be April 26th. It'll be live on iPay-per-view. The big main event is going to be announced within the next day or two, so go to theiwl.com. You can watch videos on demand and hear the update, because I got a little rumor in my mind. I can't disclose it yet. It's going to be a big match, so maybe I'll get to disclose it next week. But yeah, for Cameron Cash, I am professional wrestling's voice of choice, Christian Rosenberg. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.